are two great three-point shooting clubs, but they've gotten off to a bit of a slow start from behind the three-point arc. But Illinois State had control early, and Bradley has worked back into it. And Tim, exactly what you'd expect from these two teams. 1-4. Or 1-6 in the MVC.
Yeah, both these teams are very similar identity-wise. They make 10 threes a game. They shoot over 40% as a team from three. You're looking at one of the most dynamic players right now at the free throw line in Chase Walker. Here's a guy that tipped the scales at one point, Fran, over 400 pounds.
And he's been able to drop that. That goes all the way back to his high school days as a freshman. But he's a svelte 270 now. We're going to detail that story and how he was able to drop all that weight. Obviously, he had great dedication and had a couple of great people on the staff at Bradley to help him get through it. He misses both free throws. He's a 78% free throw shooter, the sophomore from Columbus, Ohio. And Bradley is led by Brian Wardle in his 10th season. Ryan Peden, he reps the Redbirds. This is his third year. They've gotten better each and every year. They're 12-8. Bradley's 17-3, 8-1 in the conference, and on top, Davis with 5 seconds left on the shot clock to turn around, and that is smooth and good. Bradley shoots it well. We're tied up at 17 as the Braves have battled back in this one. Johnny Kinziger working on Duke Dean, and Dean's called for the foul. As we take a look here at our fresh pet keys to the game, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, with Illinois State, they got to find shooters. Bradley's the best three-point shooting team in the country. Got to win the glass. You're the bigger team. You're the more physical team. As for Bradley, Kinziger just got to the free throw line. You're going to have to limit the dynamic guard as well as keep playing your game. Spread teams out. Get to 75. Get to 75 points. You're going to be in pretty good shape. They haven't lost a game this year, the Braves, when they have got to that number. But Johnny Kinziger, only a sophomore. I love when a 5'11 guy posts up a 5'8 guy. You always want to be what you can't be. Guards want to be bigs, and bigs want to be guards.
This guy's a 91% free throw shooter. First team preseason All-NBC. Kinziger getting it done for the Redbirds. 1917, Illinois State on top. Corey Thomas. And gets it to Montgomery. Thomas thought about the three. A quick first step. And Kinziger is called for the foul. It's been a pretty clean game so far as well. Not a ton of fouls. It's 3 for Bradley. And I believe that's the third team foul for Illinois State. Dumped it inside to Davis, who gets his own rebound. Nice look by Darius Hannah. And the dedication that Walker had, walked through the door at 325 and has dropped 55 pounds. Kinziger on Dean, fades away, and that's short. And here comes the pistol, Dean. Davis gives it back to Dean. Hannah working on the smaller Davis. That is good, tough work inside from Darius Hannah, the 6'9" 50er from Milwaukee.
He's had some creative finishes here to start this game, and you look up right now, Bradley's got a lead, and Fran, they have not played their best basketball so far through the first 12 minutes of this spot.
Wolf just lost it along the baseline. And so we're at the 8-minute mark here, and Bradley, they're doing their thing inside. And so for those of you watching our free streaming coverage, It'll conclude after the commercial break, but we will continue on CBS Sports Network. You can find us going to CBS matchup alongside Tim Doyle. I'm Fran Charles. We're so pleased that you can be along with us. It's not often in college basketball you get to talk about a couple of guys who are short and 6 feet tall, but that's what we got for both Bradley and also Illinois State.
Yeah, some of the best guards in all of college basketball. If you have not seen Duke Dean play, he's only 5'8", but he is certainly the engine of this Bradley squad that is 17-3. Johnny Kinzinger on the other side, only 5'11". Kind of has that paperboy look to him, but he is an assassin on the floor. You know, height is just a number. Talked about these two guys. I asked Duke Dean how tall he was when he went to high school. He said he was 5'3". I said every player has a height that they say if they could be that tall, I'd be in the NBA. Right. For me, Fran, it's 6'9". For Duke Dean, it's 6'1". Because if I just would have been 6'1", I would have been in the NBA.
That's unbelievable. It's all about the heart and not about the size. As here we go, Dean, and trying to see if he can add on to this Bradley lead. Bradley's done a nice job here, and they're leading Illinois State in the paint 10-6, and Hannah almost added to that. Nice rebound by Caden Bozer.
Okay, so no Chase Walker in the game. This is where Illinois State will really spread you out because Bozer's able to stretch the floor. We saw him bury a 3 earlier in the game. They basically go 5 out, 5 shooters.
Wolf down to Bozer, working on Thomas, and the right hand comes up short. Jaquan Johnson works the middle, and he kicks it over to Zeke Montgomery in rhythm. It won't go. Jordan Davis tracks down the loose ball.
That's a good rebound there for Jordan Davis. He had 12 big rebounds in Illinois State's win over Indiana State last out.
Kinzinger sets himself up and knocks down a 3. This guy shoots 40% on the long ball. Speaking of guys who grew up a little bit, Corey Thomas just had his hands on the rock. Grew 11 inches from his freshman year to his senior year in high school. Montgomery triple team, kicks it out to Dean. It won't go. Kinzinger comes up with a loose ball. Oh, nice first step from Davis. And Kinzinger just loses it. Hannah comes away with it. Dean for 3. This is what they do. It's what they do. Best three-point shooting team in the country.
We got to give a shout out to our producer, Jason, there. I mean, we talk about the guards coming out of the break, and both of them are delivering with some clutch threes from deep.
It's called clean living, my friend. Kinzinger kicks it back to Bozer. Oh, good job. Good effort from Davis. He couldn't save it. But it's ran in 3s here in Carver.
Yeah, there's Kinzinger going to the left. You got to have your celebration after you make your 3 nowadays. And then Kinzinger just hesitated for a second there. He thought he was going to go under, then he decided to go over. Too late for Dean, who's nearly 40% from 3. It was great spending a few minutes with the Duke, whose real first name, by the way, is Cody. Okay. But he said only his mom can call him that. So shout out to Mama Dean.
That's right.
By the way, Duke's so much cooler than Cody.
Off the mark there. It's going to stay down here with Bradley, they said. And that one is off the Redbirds. Chase Walker, by the way, is checked back in the game for Illinois State. Here comes Hamet Jonovic. For Bradley, Jonovic, 7 feet tall, 7'1". He's from Serbia. Dillon gets it in. Jaquan Johnson, skip pass to Dillon, the lefty. Oh, misses everything there.
Yeah, as good as his first one was that went straight in, his second one was equally as bad.
How about this? Chase Walker. Big fella. 1 and 3 quick ones. And while we have a moment, I'll look now at The Jeep AP Top 10 is Tim. We are,
we're getting towards the end of January here, and now things are starting to figure out who people are.
Yeah, if you need to watch one conference, go check out the SEC.
Right.
Because they have been wildly impressive. I think you got 3 teams just from that conference that could win a national championship, and I'm sure people from the SEC would argue there's 5 teams that could.
24-22, Bradley on top. It's a packed house at Carver. Jaquan Johnson gets to his spot, and Walker picks up the board. Walker, top rebounder on this Illinois State team. They averages 6 a game. Dalton, the Wolf. That's been Wolf's spot today. He's already knocked down a couple of threes from the corner.
These 2 guys have been going at it a little bit with Walker down low. I want to see more of this heavyweight battle.
Here we go. Along the baseline, shot clock down to 3. They're going to call Walker for traveling. And just what you were talking about, Timmy. SEC loaded 9 teams this week's people, 13 in the top 50.
Yeah, amazing with the conference. I thought that was a football conference, by the way. And Tom Izzo, who ended my playing career at the United Center, then wanted to shake my hand and whisper in my ear. I didn't want to hear that, Coach Izzo, but you're back on the sidelines. And then St. John's, Rick Pitino doing his thing.
You know, some coaches can't, some of the guys have been around for a minute, they couldn't really handle, this whole transfer portal, the way we do things now. But Pitino says, I'm all about it. Bradley up by 2 at Carver.
I was in Chicago in some beer leagues that we played in. We used to go head to head. He was a tough guard, and he was about a little bit younger than me, so it was tough keeping up with Sammy back in the day. But these squads are separated by less than an hour. There's a great rivalry here. In my eyes, the best rivalry in the Valley.
Okay.
And they always play tough games, whether it's a game in the 70s or even a game last year, Fran, that was in the 40s, but right down the wire.
Just 40 miles between the 2 schools. Good hands there from the Redbirds. But Hannah is able to corral it. Shot clock at 1. And Montgomery wasn't aware, didn't get it off. It seemed Bradley was asleep at the wheel there, didn't know. Shot clock was winding down.
It was great spending a couple of minutes with Brian Wardle before the game today. 10th year at Bradley, 15th overall. I remember when he was on the sidelines of Green Bay. In my eyes, Fran, I think he's primed for a power, however many conferences there are now, Power 7, Power 8 job, because Bradley is lucky to have him here.
Malachi Poindexter in and out. Yeah, but to your point, when he first got the job at Green Bay, he was 30, he was the youngest coach in the country. He's done such a great job. They lay it up, and Jonovich working on Walker and just loses it. Got to go up with it. Here comes Banks.
No, he's a fantastic coach and great dude as well.
Walker twisting. Davis with some quick hands. Christian Davis swipes it away. Here comes Montgomery now. And Montgomery spinning. Oh, but he doesn't get the W there. Won't drop. They're running and gunning now. Ty Pence in the game. Pence, he's had an offensive resurgence this year, but they're scrapping on the floor. Good hands from Duke D. The intensity is picked up. Hey, coming up, AT&T at the half with Brent Stover, Roy Hibbert, and John Rothstein. They'll have scores, highlights, and analysis from key games around the nation. That is AT&T at the half.
Well, the last matchup between these 2 squads, it was 48-45. And if you actually look at the score right now, Fran, it's actually trending right towards the same final score as last year.
Well, Bradley, they said, Brian Wardle said, look, I've watched them. They haven't played zone all year. They could come out and play zone. This is Jack Doherty, the freshman from Brookfield, Wisconsin, fresh off the bench and dropping in a 3 at a career high 28 points against Trinity back in the middle of November. This kid is not afraid. But so Wardle said, hey, he wouldn't be surprised if they try to shake it up because they played zone against him last year. Haven't seen that, though.
No, I think Illinois State's been the more physical team throughout this game, but been a great edge for both of these squads. And I thought Bradley, the first couple of minutes, you got a packed house here, great environment. It was in a seat empty. I thought Bradley was maybe a little bit too hyped in this spot. Just check out Jack Doherty. Now, he has made 38 field goals this year from deep.
Yep.
He's only made 7 from 2.
He is a three-point specialist, his tops, too, in the Missouri Valley Conference. 6 times he's scored double figures, so he's a nice X factor that comes off the bench for Ryan Peden. Montgomery working on Doherty. Montgomery with that spin. That time he wins on the baseline. Nothing but net.
He had a pretty amazing story, right? Started his career here, transfers to Rhode Island, not working out, ends up transferring back to Bradley.
Yeah, was a reserve at Rhode Island and just wasn't the right fit, was playing out of position a little bit, but he comes back home and it's worked out. How about Kinziger? That won't go, and the littlest man on the floor comes up with the rebound. Davis, a little stop and go. Doherty comes away with it. Good fight from the Redbirds. Bradley by 1, 26-25. Kinziger leaves it for Walker. Doherty. And it's short for 3. Hannah, spin, and goes up with the left hand. Darius Hannah for the jam.
That was interesting there. He dunked that ball with 41 seconds left and the ball squirted away. It was actually a 2-for-1 opportunity. And instead, with the clock still running because the ball squirted out, Illinois State's going to have the last possession.
Crowd on its feet. Bradley up by 3, and they want their Braves to play a little D. Kinziger. Point back, Dexter gets it back to Kinziger. Walker's bodied up. Oh, he draws a foul. No, let's go back to Hannah. Pretty nifty.
Oh, no, he just took advantage of the freshman there. He was able to score that ball. And yeah, he dunks that ball at about 41 seconds left. You can see the clock there above, but the ball squirted out. Because I'm always thinking 2-for-1. I got an NBA mentality also. I'm a mathematician. Like, it's a huge advantage when you can take 2 shots and the team could only take 1. But Walker's at the line. He's had his struggles there so far. Missed his first 2 of the game.
Wow. This guy's usually a 78% free throw shooter. He was the MVC Player of the Week in mid-December. He scored in double figures for 15 games this year, 4 straight. And so he gets to 1 and 2. 1.4 seconds left. Now a quick timeout. We're going to step aside for a quick 30 seconds and be back and see what Ryan Peden can draw up.
The booking app I used didn't have Agent Force, so an AI agent didn't know to move my reservations inside or know what I like to eat, which is not that.
What's up, my brother?
Oh, hey, bud. We really needed this rain, right?
Agent Force helps restaurants prevent dining disasters.
Paddle on over.
It's what AI was meant to be.
We got you, brother.
Love to see the little guys and gals out here at Carver Arena. They got good seats too. Getting a chance to see good action. All right, so if you're Brian Wardle, what do you want to see from your club here?
I think you're going to give Duke Dean the ball, and hopefully he gets to the logo.
Here we go. Dean lets it rip. He was on track, just a little short. And so it's been a frenetic the first half, but low scoring affair. And Brian Wardle's club on top, 28-26. And the war on 74. And they're firing it up here at Carver. College basketball on CBS Sports Network is presented by Fresh Pet. Bradley up by a deuce at that.
The half, the Braves on top of the Valley. They've got the lead by 2. Inside our New York studios, Brent Stover, John Rothstein, Roy Hibbert as well. It is 28-26. What do you see so far, Roy?
Well, Bradley's starters weren't looking to pull the trigger in the first half of the first half. But as the game was going on, their bench really came on. But their starters, they need to get going because they average double figures. So the bench really took over. First play right here, Corey Thomas gets the pocket pass. He takes his time over that left shoulder, off the rim, bounces in. Now look at this, body to body. Johnson takes it in. They need more of that. Towards the end of the half, Darius Hannah and Montgomery really look to try to take over and get some scoring going, but they need their starters to pull the trigger in the second half.
Again, though, Bradley, 17-3 coming in. One of the hottest teams in the country, 8-1 in the Valley. Let's get you caught up on the Saturday afternoon in the Valley.
Yeah, Kinzinger sizing things up. One of 5 first-half threes for the Redbirds. A good one going.
We've got a good one here at Carver Arena in Peoria, Illinois, a Missouri Valley Conference matchup. Bradley's on top in the conference. They're at 8-1, and they're on top here in this game, 28-26 over Illinois State. Alongside Tim Doyle, I'm Fran Charles. It's funny because we got a low-scoring affair. It doesn't feel that way, though. The intensity is there. Just shots just aren't dropping.
No, both these teams shoot the 3 extremely well. They make, on average, 10 a game. It simply has not happened. More so for Illinois State than Bradley. Illinois State has banged down 5, but of 17, so not a great percentage. But they came out and they were a little bit more energetic to start this game. There's our guy, Johnny Kinzinger, burying the shot. On the flip side for Bradley, you heard Roy Hibbert at halftime in studio talk about Darius Hannah. There's that monster slam. He was 3 of 4 from the field. Duke Dean's been a little bit on the quiet side. He's only had 5 points. There's one of 2 threes that Bradley has drained in this first half. Last year, Fran, was a rock fight. Yeah. It was 48-45. It's trending in that direction again.
But, I mean, neither one of us would be surprised if they both go off offensively, if all of a sudden the lid comes off the bucket as well.
Yeah, I thought Bradley, I mean, this is a packed house here. There's not a seat empty. I thought they were a bit overhyped to start this game. And I thought Illinois State was a little bit more patient. But I'm surprised you look up at the half and Bradley's got the lead. Yep. I think they're going to start to open it up here in the second half.
Yeah, both these teams, again, like Bradley's top 3-point shooting team in the country. And Illinois State's at 5. They both shoot over 40, and both are under 30 this afternoon. But we still have one half of hoops left to go, 28-26. And Illinois State and the Redbirds start off. Good hands by Jonovic. Kinzinger stops, leans in. Oh, Christian Davis. And he's called for the foul. And tomorrow morning at 9 Eastern, get up with your favorite Gridiron crew. So they keep you up to date on the latest news and analysis ahead of Championship Sunday. Watch that other pregame show here on CBS Sports Network. And those guys have a ton of fun. Kinzinger.
Who do you like?
Tomorrow? Yeah. Until I see somebody knock out the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm going with KC, and I think Philadelphia is going to win as well.
Yeah, tough to bet against the Chiefs just because I mean, they never seem to break 30 points, but they take great care of football, and you got Patty Mahomes in the center.
And they're healthy at the perfect time. I think part of the issue they had all year long was the injuries, but the offense, they got a lot of firepower back. Yeah, that's going to be a great game on CBS, Chiefs and Bills. Montgomery, as the Braves get offensive rebound, he's working on Dalton. Scoops across the lane and won't go. And Walker comes up with a rebound.
Now, I'm all for a good post up, but when someone's posting up, other guys got to move. Gotcha. It's so hard to score when you're just playing one-on-one. Everyone's standing still.
They go back to Walker inside on Jonovic, and Walker kicks it back out. Walker now from Kinzinger. Loses it, and it goes to the right hand. So the lefty uses his right hand there.
That's been a battle all game long. Jonovic and Walker head-to-head, 2 heavyweights.
And Dean along the baseline has it swatted by Dalton Banks.
Yeah, we compared this in the first half to maybe a Lennox Lewis and a Klitschko going at it, and here we got Walker with the offhand scoring.
Montgomery, a sweet turnaround, and it won't go. That lid is staying on here for both these clubs. It's a good shot, just didn't fall. Kinziger flips it underneath to Dalton, to Walker. No go.
For that mid-range game, if he starts developing that, he reminds me a lot of Zach Randolph.
Okay. Oh, I like it.
State great.
Yep.
Long career in the NBA with the Grizzlies.
Skip pass from Hannah to Davis. And that won't go. Great drive, great look. And missed the layup. Dalton going coast to coast. Was landing Wolf's spot in the first half, but comes up with an air ball there. Walker working on Jonovich. There's that patented left hand. That won't go.
Jonovich is doing an awesome job of forcing Walker either out of his spot or trying to make him turn to that right hand.
Dean underneath to Davis. $30 apiece here. We're just underway here in the second half at a packed Carver Arena. Jordan Davis underneath to Kinziger. The body's blocked by Kristen Davis. And the tree trunks, they were waiting for Davis underneath. Hannah to Davis, working on the smaller Kinziger, and some help now from Jordan Davis. Hannah draws a foul. Hannah's Hannah. He'll take it. He'll take it to the hoop.
Yeah, you got to make this one. Yeah, this is a great look here by Dean. Just got up in the air, kind of got bailed out though, because when you leave your feet, all of a sudden,
you're right.
Got to hope the teammates able to help you out there. Great cut there by Davis. You know, Hannah got hit on the leg. He definitely got hit, and he's going to the free throw line, but he had a size advantage there. You got to score that one. The crowd is like itching, Fran, to get involved in this game.
MVC preseason first teamer, along with teammate Duke Dean. Dean also was the preseason player of the year for the conference. Bunch of players sub in for both squads. Back to Hannah. A year ago, it was the MVC's most improved. Made that team at 35 starts. Done a nice job. It doesn't go there.
Yeah, so instead of maybe getting 3, he goes to the line and misses both, and you walk away with none.
These are two really good free throw shooting teams and two good shooting teams. We just haven't seen that today. Maybe Caden Bozer can get it going. That's short. Good rebound by Jordan Davis. He can't get the bunny underneath. Dean straight to the rack. Kicks it back out to Kristen Davis. And Dean goes strong. They're letting him play here. And we're going the other way. All right, a quick look now. Time for the player profile brought to you by State Farm. As the foul is called for that, we zero in on Chase Walker. And we talked about Walker losing a ton of weight. He was 400 pounds at one point, dropped it down to 325 before he came here, and then now it's at 270.
Well, his head coach, Ryan Peden, said this, and he's been an assistant coach for over 20 years. The biggest transformation he has ever seen in 1 year from any player he's ever been around.
And a great job by Ryan Swenson, the strength coach, and nutritionist Sarah Wright, who really worked hard with Walker as Bozer's called for steps. But those two really worked hard. All right, so fans are ready to explode, but they're just waiting to see some of these buckets drop. College basketball and CBS Sports Network presented by FreshPet. We're back with more after this.
The itch and rash of moderate to severe eczema disrupts my skin night and day. Despite treatment, it's still not under control. But now I have Rinvoq. Rinvoq is a once daily pill that reduces the itch and helps clear the rash of eczema fast. Some taking Rinvoq felt significant itch relief as early as 2 days, and some achieved dramatic skin clearance as early as 2 weeks. Many saw clear or almost clear skin.
Rinvoq can lower ability to fight infections. Before treatment, test for TB and do blood work. Serious infections, blood clots, some fatal. Cancers including lymphoma and skin. Serious allergic reactions. GI tears, death, heart attack, and stroke occurred. CV event risk increases in age 50 plus with a heart disease risk factor. Tell your doctor if you've had these events. Infection, Hep B or C, smoked, are pregnant, or planning. Don't take if allergic or have an infection.
Disrupt the itch and rash of eczema. Talk to your dermatologist about Rinvoq.
Learn how AbbVie can help you save.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
Hershey's milk chocolate with whole almonds. It's pretty much the tastiest balancing act of all time. Oh, look at them, together in perfect harmony.
At Harbor Freight, we do business differently from the other guys. We design and test our own tools and sell them directly to you. No middleman, just quality tools you can trust at prices you'll love.
Coming this March, watch these teams and the rest of the Missouri Valley Conference compete for a bid to the Big Dance. Catch the semifinal action on CBS Sports Network March 8th, followed by the championship game on CBS March 9th. Get ready for Arch Madness, the Missouri Valley Conference tournament presented by State Farm. Being a kid from St. Louis, I'm all about Arch Madness, baby. Gateway to the West, and some news and notes. How about the job they've done at Drake? I mean, Ben McCollum, 17-2.
Yeah, I actually drove down to Chicago to watch the matchup between these two squads, and UIC knocked off Drake that day. And I said, wow, Rob East on the sidelines of UIC has done a tremendous job. But, yeah, Ben McCollum has been one of the national stories at Drake. Brought a few guys over from his former team, Division II level, and they have clicked. I think chemistry, cohesion is huge in college basketball. Brian Ward doesn't think so. I disagree with him there. I think when you have guys that have a core together, like a Duke Dean, like a Hannah, that at least know each other, that's a huge advantage now because of the portal. It's hard to find that chemistry.
Yeah, we'll get into that in just a little bit later. I was surprised to hear him say that as well. Corey Thomas fading away. It won't go. Good defense by Bozer. So these teams now, the Braves 1 of 7 shooting this half, and the same for Illinois State, just 1 of 7. So tough offensive sledding still continues. Kinziger, nowhere to go. And nice job by Wolf to run that down. Shot clock down to 7. Davis is going to have to do something. Pulls back, step back 3. It won't go. So the tough times continue offensively. Jaquan Johnson to Hannah.
If you're Bradley, you got to get Duke Dean going. Number 21 in white. Got to get the rock. He's got to be creating off the bounce.
Thomas, 6'10". Working on Davis, and Thomas and Hannah. They're down on the same page.
I actually thought that was Bradley's worst possession of this entire game. And meanwhile, Bozer had switched out on Dean. And if you're Duke Dean and you have a big guy switch out on you, you just run towards the ball. And you want to create that mismatch. The Duke has to get going here.
Well, Ryan Beaton told us the one thing that he wants to see from his team, hasn't seen it this year. Defense got to get a lot better, and he's got to be thrilled with what he's seen today. Kinziger, he got caught in no man's land. Oh, big collision here between Bozer and Christian Davis. It was not on purpose. You could see it coming. We have front row view. I mean, clearly, that's a foul on Bozer, clearly. And they're going to take a look to see if they feel it's a flagrant. I think it was just both guys kind of hustling and getting to the spot. And Davis trying to make sure everything's working.
You got a loose ball here. And the fact that Illinois State retained possession I think Bozier's got to do a better job of a little body control. I think that the ball is going to end up in Bradley's hands when this is all said and done. How about you, partner?
Yeah, no, I definitely think Bozier's going to get called for a foul. And whether they decide it's an official, it's a flagrant. Yeah, that's referee Antonio Petty letting Tim know the situation.
Yeah, they say no foul. The war on 74 is real. That's what the ref said. He goes, there was no blood on the play, so no foul on the play. There's 9 on the shot clock.
You paraphrase it, of course. Gene Grimshaw and John Hendricks round out the officiating crew. Wow, I mean, I thought at least there would be a foul call because of the contact.
Yeah,
You can't deny that there was contact.
and now if you're Illinois State, you got to think it's going to be Kinzinger here who's going to get the ball. 11 in red.
And the Carver faithful did not like that. No call. Shot clock down inside 10 at 5. Malachi Poindexter's got to go. Good defense from Jaquan Johnson. Poindexter throws it up. And nice defensive set.
I can't imagine that's what Ryan Peden drew up in the timeout there.
And we're seeing Almar Atlason for the first time tonight. Johnson just got caught and draws a foul. Trying to Euro step down there amongst the trees.
Now, folks, I just want to tell you this. Last time Illinois State played, they scored 85 points. They knocked off Indiana State. The last time Bradley took the floor, they scored 89 points. So both these teams were in the 80s. This game may be first one to 50, and they just stopped playing.
Yeah, Jaquan Johnson, 79% free throw shooter. And he's been able to nab one of these Missouri Valley Conference Freshman of the Week awards this year in mid-December. He's 4th in the conference in steals. And he's 3rd in steals per game.
Did you think that was shooting?
I think it was, because he was trying to Euro step there. So.
I saw the move. I didn't see the shot. Lucky enough for the freshman there, who's going to be sensational if he stays at Bradley.
Yeah, good catalyst, too, because he hasn't started a game yet this year, but he is a spark plug off the bench. And Bradley goes back up by 2. Dean cuts off Poindexter. Kinzinger to Wolf. Wolf, deep 3. That's off the front end, and the big fella, Jonovich, comes down with a rebound.
Illinois State, they are playing a little bit too much two-man or one-on-one. Not enough movement on offense.
Montgomery working on the smaller Kinzinger. And he just beats him down, backs him down, and drops in the turnaround.
He got 6'6" versus 5'11" there. 7 inches, the big difference. Starting to feel the momentum here, Frank.
Yeah, a little bit.
Swing a little bit.
Dalton Banks had to tie his shoes. Bradley now with its biggest lead of the afternoon, just 4. And the crowd fired up. Johnson's going to be called for the foul. And the bigger man wins here, Timmy.
Yeah, I mean, this is just bully ball at its best. And Zeke Montgomery, who averaged 3 points a game as a freshman, 8 as a sophomore, 9.5 last year, and now he's up to almost 14 points a game. He's just clearly gotten better each and every year.
Yeah, Montgomery, the MVC preseason second team member. Good pick from Walker, who frees up Dalton. But Jonovich says not today. Johnson now back on the offensive end, hangs and bakes it home. Jaquan Johnson with the 3-point play.
And you know what I love about this drive? Strength. Because sometimes it's not always pretty and you got to push through and use that body. That 5'11" freshman, we were just talking about him before. He is tough going to the rim.
And Johnson from Milwaukee, along with Darius Hannum and DeMarion Birch, who we have not seen today, but these guys, they know each other from their high school days. And Bradley now has opened up its biggest lead of the game. It's 7. And the crowd fired up. They can feel it. Walker with the pick for Kinziger. And it won't go. Dean coming the other way. Off to the races. Dean kicks it in the corner. Montgomery for three. Yes, sir! Zeke Montgomery and the Braves are up by 10. And Ryan Bean wants a quick timeout. Bradley up by 10. Brian Wardle's club doing what they do. Look now at the keys to the game brought to you by Fresh Pet. So let's go back to what you said, Tim, will be key early on.
Well, they've been able to, limit Bradley from three. And as for Johnny Kinzinger, he's been good, not great. The backboards have been pretty close. I don't think this game is going to see 75 points, but you just wonder watching Illinois State in the half court, Fran, how are they going to get buckets as Bradley's on a 12-0 scoring run, and it's been really different players. It was in the first half. 9 players played. 8 of them scored. Jaquan Johnson got going with a couple of free throws. There's a tough N1, and then I love this pass in transition. Dean out to Montgomery. He was feeling it. Crowd's involved. They got their largest lead of the game.
Yeah, that run going over a 7+ minute stretch. And the freshman Jack Doherty, a three-point specialist, he's in. Shot clock down to 10. Poindexter on Dean, trying to create. They're going to call offensive. Got that left arm out in the chest of Dean.
We've talked so much about Bradley and their offense, but the Bradley Braves, they are locking up on the defensive end today. Formed that program because it was always Gonzaga out there, right? And there was like 100%. All the rest of the schools. Now St. Mary's in that conversation. That league is tough, and now Gonzaga is not ranked. They've had a couple of losses, most recently to Santa Clara. There's a lot of balance out there in WCC.
The Braves on a 12-0 run over the last 7+ minutes, trying to expand. We'll see what kind of defense the Redbirds can play. Jaquan Johnson, he got hit in the face and was looking for the foul. Didn't get the call.
Well, how about that? 6+ minutes, no points. Forget about no field goals.
I got their hand on the ball, actually. They did not get hit in the face. Shot clock down to 5. Montgomery working on Kinziger. Nice step move, but he can't finish.
You're right. It was a great move, and then he just rifled it off the glass. Needed a little bit more touch there.
All right, Redbirds here. See if they can compose themselves. Why not go to Kinziger? He is just off. The great rebound for Jack Doherty. They are just not shooting at the level that they are accustomed to. The clock's ticking. No points in the last 8+ minutes. Shot clock to 5. Doherty off the mark. And so the Redbirds have run dry. Johnson trying to create. Oh, good defense. All right, here comes Dalton coming back the other way. Pushes it ahead to Poindexter. Good transition defense by Bradley. Walker banging with Jonovich. And he draws a foul. Another great thing about Chase Walker's game. Through 40 minutes, he gets hacked about 8 times a game. That's one of the best marks in all of college basketball.
And to think where this guy's going to be over the next 12 months since where he has been. Just watching the development in his game and the way he's missed a bunch of free throws in this
game.
That's a good miss, though. Like, he's got excellent rotation on the ball. It just went in and out. There's a lid on the rim right now for Illinois State. I think he's in a perfect situation. Okay. And I think a guy like this, from a sophomore, his size, I think a lot of the big schools are going to be pawning at him. I don't know if he's going to be able to develop the same way at another school and misses another free throw. Here at Illinois State, he can shoot threes, he can step out. If you go somewhere else, your game might just be limited to do this, screen and score down low.
Yeah, Walker's had an awful day in the charity stripe. Atlason can't connect. Where's the offense going to come from for Illinois State in the war on 74?
I would keep going back to Walker. I'd force feed him. And Bradley's defense, they're just smothering Fran Charles.
Yeah, Banks had to call a quick timeout there. All right, so we're going to take a quick 30-second break as Ryan Pete calls for timeout.
Okay, I'll only be gone a couple days, Rumi.
Yay.
I put all the important contact info on the fridge.
That's all USAA.
So you can enjoy that sweet, sweet USAA service while I'm gone.
I know how to get in touch with USAA. I can file a claim or chat right in the app.
Good idea. I should add that.
USAA, Auto, Home, Life, and Bank.
Brandon, Tim back with you here at Carver Arena. We talked about the transformation of Chase Walker. Now we're going to show you. We're going to show you what 375, 380 pounds looks like in high school. Whoa. This guy should be playing on Sundays instead of Saturdays back in the day. But what a great dedication and work to get down all the way from about 400 pounds down to 270 now.
Yeah, now it's going to be especially lifestyle for the rest of his life to stay at it and to remain healthy and stay healthy.
Ty Pence from the corner. Ty Pence, he gets his first three of the afternoon. That young man struggled last year mightily offensively, but he's worked hard on his game in the offseason, and he's been an offensive force for the Redbirds, and they're going to need more from Pence. He averages just over 7 points a game. Hannah, oh, he just backs down Kinziger. And Kinziger takes the worst of it.
Now, they have not scored in nearly 10 minutes, not of actual time, of game time. And they lost Pence there. And then Hannah's just playing bully ball. I don't know, Fran. I've seen that called the charge on that particular play. It's called the block. Not easy to beat an official.
Duke Dean for three. And won't go. Kinziger comes up with a loose rebound.
I feel like this is a huge possession here for Illinois State. Get themselves right back in this game.
And this time they go back to Malachi Poindexter. So back-to-back threes for the Birds. And now Brian Wardle wants a quick timeout because he just saw a 12-point lead. A 10-point lead get whittled down to 4 with a quickness.
Yeah, this feels like a scoring barrage right now, and you go nearly 10 minutes without a point. Back-to-back possessions, similar plays, right? Johnny Kinziger making stuff happen on the bounce. Poindexter's able to bury the three. Here's a guy last year, a big performance against Evansville where he had 27 points.
Yep.
A 6'3" grad student from Virginia buries the shot, and here we go again. If you followed Illinois State, they're 12-8 on the year. You see their record. But, Fran, they lost 2 games at the buzzer. So if you flip those games around, I know that's sports.
Right.
Now they're looking at 14-6.
Yep.
They took Drake right down to the wire. They lost by 4. They lost by 1 most recently to Northern Iowa. Like, they played a lot of tough games this year. And they've showed some fight in this one. 10-point deficit, they did not wave the white flag.
Coach Peden, take a little time out to holler at your son, Chicago Joe, who's sitting here courtside with us. He's not sweating anything. Hannah, wreck shot. Wide open to the hoop, Darius Hannah, and he throws it down. Pence lobs it inside to Walker. Back out to Pence. They move it around. I want to see if they can get Pence another 3-point offering. Shot clock down to 5. Poindexter tries to lean and to Dean. Didn't get the call, but that was a tough shot from Malachi. Skip pass from Hannah across to Montgomery. He tries to charge hard. And Walker is going to be called for the foul.
Finally, we've waited all day for some scoring, and it has started to happen. The war on 74 is real, and we got a good one in Peoria.
to Davidson. The last time they met at St. Louis, about all the three-pointers that were going down.
Oh, amazing. They shot it well from deep. You can't say the same for these two teams. Check out Darius Hannah here. Watch how he's able to get open, and he slips the screen. Now freeze it right there. Now you got a defender looking out. You got someone fighting over, and watch how Hannah, he slips that screen, roll it. Boom, two guys go. He's able to cut. You heard Roy Hibbert at the half say, let's get Hannah some more touches. He's taken 5 shots. He's made 4 of them. Big Roy would know, one of the all-time greats in Georgetown history. Got that team to a Final Four. Sitting up there in the studio. If Roy says to do something, you do it, okay?
There you go. Absolutely. Hannah, by the way, now 975 career points, so he's 25 shy of 1,000. And he just needs 6 more games to play the most games in Braves history. And they changed that last 2-pointer by Poindexter to a 3. And so it's a 3-point game. And Hannah once more working on the big fella Walker. It won't go.
On cue, right? You got to look. Not able to convert now for Illinois State. Kinzinger's having success on the dribble drive.
Into Walker's briefly double team. Atletson a little smaller. Jonovich. Banks with a good look. In and out. Oh, what a rebound. Ty Petz is there for the putback. And it's a 1-point game. Atletson, and he's fouled by Walker.
You got to love Ryan Peden. He's gone deep into the bench here to find some sort of answer because his team went nearly 10, I repeat, 10 minutes without scoring a point. And Pence has come in, he buried a 3. He got a key rebound. Bench is excited. This has been a very bizarre game, Fran. Buckets have been at a premium. Shooters aren't making shots. Last year we saw a game between these two teams, 48-45. Partner, I never expected to see another one like that, but it's trending in that direction.
It's an 11-3 run here for Illinois State. And Atletson, the 6'8 sophomore from Iceland. And he's going to tap out to his Serbian brother, Jonovich. And his first couple of free throws, and Almar says no problem. Knocks him down. And Bradley Grit. A little pressure from the Braves as the Redbirds work across the line. Poindexter just had that big 3.
Yeah, they're in zone. This is the first possession we've seen. Bradley, now they're in a box and one or some sort of zone.
Banks found a spot.
They're able to get a stop.
Hit the back of the rim, Montgomery. Bringing it back up the other way. Bradley by 3, 6:15 left in the second half. In this Missouri Valley Conference matchup. And Montgomery gets to his spot. Jonovich, the big fella, throws it up. They say he's not shooting. On the ground. What a good drive, though.
Jonovich, his effort's been awesome, both ends of the floor, because he's been matched up with Chase Walker. He's given him a handful, and now with Bradley being in the bonus, he hits the free throw line for 1-1.
Ahmet Jonovich, 7-1. They call him Meta. And from Serbia, he's got a career-high 15 points a year ago against Valparaiso, but he is a big-time shot blocker. He's 15th in the conference in blocks.
Yep, and I'm actually 6'5", and I do something very creepy before every game, right? I stand next to guys to see how tall they really are, because basketball players, they've been known to lie about how tall they are.
I like it.
He's legit 7'1".
Yeah, he played for the Serbian national team back in the day. And it's a 5-point Bradley lead. So Bradley changing things up a little bit in a zone and also applying a little pressure.
Yeah, they're in a 2-3 and they're spread pretty wide out. Now you want to get the ball right in the middle of 33.
Kinzinger almost pulled up in the logo. Shot clock at 5. Good look inside. Boxer just flips it up there, and it won't go. And when you got a 7-footer in your face, it changes the dynamics. And so nice strategy here from Brian Wardle to kind of stop the bleeding and get his team back on offense. Anna working on the smaller Poindexter. Physical. Montgomery in rhythm. Won't go. Poindexter gets the rebound. This is the Missouri Valley Conference ain't tough. A lot of physicality in this matchup. Poindexter gets it back from Boser. And now Boser for 3. Way off the mark. We'll say it was a pass defense. Kinziger. Oh, yeah! Johnny Kinziger. And he's the first player in double figures today. And it's a 2-point lead for the Braves. Oh, Banks gets his hands on the rock. But Johnson gets it back. Montgomery from the free throw line. And rolls it home. Some of that savvy senior moxie from Zeke Montgomery back at Bradley after a year at Rhode Island. All right, Jaquan Johnson tips that back, so you get no over back. Kinziger hard to the rack. He's going to draw a foul. We got a game, folks. 48-44. Bradley holding on with 4 left. Look at what these two teams averaged, Tim, for the season.
You know, but both these coaches, they knew a key to this game was going to be defense. I mean, Ryan Eaton, when we talked to him, he was like, yeah, we can score, but we got to guard much better. And as for Bradley, they get a lot of love because they're the best 3-point shooting team in the country. But Brian Wardle's squad, they have locked up. I mean, they held Illinois State 10 minutes, 0 points.
Right.
Illinois State shooting 27% in this game. You look up, but they're still right in it.
Wardle in his 10th year has done a great job here. The 2023 MVC Coach of the Year, Johnny Kinziger. 5'11" sophomore from De Pere, Wisconsin. First team preseason All-MVC. He's had 5 now straight games in double figures. Trying to lead his team back. He was a career 45% 3-point shooter in high school at De Pere in Wisconsin. It's a 2-point game.
Now they're in zone,
which they haven't played all year long, according to Brian Wardle.
Yeah, it's more of a matchup now. It looks like they're back to man-to-man, so and they end up getting a turnover. So they were switching it up there. You see both these coaches going out of their comfort zone. Brian Wardle threw some zone out there. That was a little bit of a matchup that went into a man-to-man. And now Illinois State, friend, you look up, they got a shot to take the lead here.
And they battled back nicely. And that big drought, as Tim mentioned, 10 minutes they didn't score. But they've come alive at the right time. The 3:30 left. Nice look inside from Walker to Poindexter. And we're knotted up at 48. Johnson. How about Atletson for 3? That was silky. In rotation. Atletson. No problem. Hasn't played much today, but he's had a big impact off the bench. Kinziger in a rhythm, misses everything. Dean comes back the other way. And Kinziger quickly got out on Atletson after he saw that hot hand. Oh, Hannah. He's going to step into a 3 and miss everything. That's why I don't shoot a lot of them. Atletson, shot clock inside of 10. Dean just checked it out. And now he's going straight to the rack. Little fella dished it off to Atletson, and he draws the foul.
Wow, if you had to go down the list of who is going to make some plays in this game. Poindexter off the bench ties it, and then Atlason. I mean, nearly 70% of his buckets have been threes throughout his career. He's a career 40% shooter from three. That's what he does, and he buries a huge one to give his team a 3-point lead.
It's the heart and soul right here of the Bradley Braves. Duke team never missed a game in his 3 years here. 1,000-point club. As you see, Montgomery and Jonovich come back in. But Dean and the 1,000-point club. 62 threes coming into today. That was second in the MVC, and Brian Wardle says, this is our guy. This guy's a natural-born leader. You can't teach what Duke Dean has, and Wardle's just happy he's on his side. Here we go. Bradley's responded, and they're up 5. Kinziger to Pence. Kinziger steps back, and now it's Pence. Kinziger switches to the left and lays it in. Johnny Kinziger. Three-point game.
Hannah's got the mismatch here.
Jonovich on Walker. Dean now steps back. The fadeaway. And Duke Dean connects.
And Dean had the mismatch as well. Dance, step back. Huge jumper for the senior.
Minute 15 left. Can the Redbirds rally? Poindexter steps back. That's off the front end, and Jonovich comes up with a rebound. And the floor general says, give me the rock. It's all going to run through Duke Dean. The final minute here at Carver Arena. And Brian Wardle wants a quick timeout. And so, Tim, it's the Stars who are finally showing up at the end.
Yeah, the Stars, both guys under 6 feet, both guys. You got to love their grittiness. Kinziger keeping his squad in it. And then the Duke dancing in Peoria with the step-back jumper. We expected this game to be close. We wasn't sure if it was going to be high-scoring. Last year was low-scoring. Bradley's been in a ton of these games this year, and they figured out ways to win. As for Illinois State, they've lost 2 heartbreakers at the buzzer. Another one here, Fran, going right down to the wire.
Yeah, most definitely. And the Braves, they're showing you why. They've just been a tough out all year long. And to your point, here's Illinois State's close games. There's some L's in there, too, like you said. 1.2-point games. Look at that overtime loss to Belmont. That's rough.
You know, you're 12-8. You could be looking at 15-5.
Yep.
And right now, this is obviously the biggest possession of the game. Bradley gets a hoop. This will be the dagger.
And Dean's mama said, that's my baby Cody out there. Cody for 3. And it won't go. Nice rebound by Davis. And now Montgomery thought about stepping into 3, and they backed it out. Shot clock at 15. Redbirds got to do something. They're down 5. We got 30 seconds left. 2-possession game. Montgomery goes all the way to the rack, lays it up, and then tips it back in. Zeke Montgomery with the backbreaker. Tie Pence for 3 in the corner. And they fouled the 3-point shooter. That was a tough possession for the Redbirds, and Montgomery did a great job working hard on the glass.
Yeah, Ryan Peden decided not to foul. I get it. You get a stop here. It's a 5-point game, but you're able to get the miss, not be able to corral the rebound. And now Pence heads to the free throw line, where he is an 86% free throw shooter, shooting 3.
All right, and they need them all. From Ty Pence, the sophomore from St. Joseph, Illinois. And he makes the first. Pence came off the bench and hit a big 3-pointer. It's the second one to roll as well. St. Joseph's in Ogden High School set the single-season mark for three-pointers. Dropped home a record 94 his senior year. This cat can flat-out shoot, and he's battled back, done a nice job offensively. Good board. But then Davis couldn't make anything happen with it. And we get a foul. Davis, the right thing, got the board, but then they couldn't connect. He tried to go back up.
You know, he was amongst the trees there, and at that point, down 5. Sure, if you get an opportunity for an easy layup, you take it. Probably wishes he would have threw it out there. Nice, and Duke Dean to the free throw line where at 81%, this is the guy, if you're Brian Wardle, you want shooting.
Davis's twin brother, by the way, you know him. Johnny, he was Big Ten Player of the Year for Wisconsin. They were both on Wisconsin together. And Jordan is back here at Bradley. And Duke Dean giving his team a 6-point lead here. This guy's a money free throw shooter. He's 85% for the year. And he drops home 2. 7-point lead with 14 seconds left. Pence is going to let it fly. And hits. Okay, not done. Peyton wants a quick timeout. And so Ty Pence, we just told you about his three-point prowess.
And a lot of Illinois State fans excited for that 3 to go in the hoop with 7.8 left. Make this a 4-point game. Now, Pence has been a discovery here for Peden coming off the bench. He really changed the complexion of this game. If you're just joining us right now, Illinois State went 10 minutes without scoring any points. 0 points in 10 minutes. And then Pence got in the game. He buried a 3, and they hit another 3, and they've showed a lot of fight throughout. Last year's two teams played a 48-45 game, and Bradley has not shot the 3 well. Came into the game as one of the best three-point shooting teams in the country. Illinois State's been fantastic finding shooters, but right down to the wire here, and now you're going to play the foul game. I would love to see basketball. To see basketball go to a target score. I think the fouling and the way basketball games end, Fran, are a little anticlimactic.
Gotcha.
Because you can have a great game, and instead of having a game-winning shot or like a climactic moment, the way most basketball games end, just I would like to see that evolution. It might be a little too forward for some older people.
Right.
But what we remember from basketball, those last-second
100%.
shots and those crescendo moments. Love to see a target score ending in college as well as the pros.
And it would help, certainly. All right, so let's see if Redbirds get the quick foul there on Christian Davis. And Bradley's in the double bonus, so they'll shoot 2.
You know, the basketball tournament, the TBT, where they gun for $1 million championship, they play to a target score. We've seen the NBA All-Star game do it. I think there's so many great games, and this was a great one. It was the guys were really giving it their all, went down to the wire. I'd love to see a shot end it instead of free throws.
Davis, first Brave ever to play here in the state of Colorado. He's from Denver. Transferred from Lemoyne College a few years back. He makes both free throws. He's an 82% free throw shooter. And it's Bradley up 6 with 6.5 left. Pence inside is going to throw it down, but it's a 2-possession game with 1.3 left, and that'll do it. So Brian Wardle's club, he's able to withstand a big-time run from the Redbirds, and they win it 61-57 on the Warren 74. And they improved to 9-1, Tim, in the MVC.
Yeah, it's really been kind of the story of Bradley's season. 9-1 ahead of the Missouri Valley Conference with that record 18-3 and overall. But man,